Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Astral Jewels. I hope your month of April has been kind to you. And how did you go with the solar eclipse or the supposed solar eclipse on the 8th of April? Or was it? So, what did you guys feel? Now, I felt something shift in my own energy, which was really quite amazing. So, and on a positive level. And as a result, I feel like I'm much more online. So, less brain fog, you could say, more clarity, and yeah, more sharper in my thinking and sharper in my awareness, which I'm very grateful for. So even if that eclipse was a load of codswallop, something positive has come out of it. So I hope something positive happened for you as well. So we're about to approach um, May, and for some of you um, watching this, you're probably watching it in May. So I've just pre-recorded it a couple of days beforehand. Um, so we're now going to get into what's going to happen for May. Okay, so firstly, just bear with me because I've got several windows open and just navigating all these different pages to get everything happening. So we have the sun in Aries at the moment, and that's from the 14th of April to the 14th of May 2024. So this is your birth sign if you were born between those dates using the sidereal model, which is in line with the sky. Okay, so I don't do tropical astrology. I do sidereal because when I really started delving into astrology for my own self, I discovered that it was out by 24 degrees, 23.4 degrees, in fact. And my pursuit of astronomy after finding out this actually verified the positions of the planets and the constellations aligned with the sidereal model. And for those that are into stargazing, by all means, get the Stellarium app, stellarium.org, and that uses the sidereal model. And you can basically download it on your phone, go outside of a night time and switch it on, and you will see mirrored in your phone what is actually going on in the sky, and it'll give you the names of the stars and planets that are visible. So it's a really, really good way of learning astronomy. Okay, so the next slide, because I covered Aries in the last show, and yeah, Aries, the sun in Aries, it's been really, really fiery. You know, just think of this Mars energy, and you've got the Sun Mars energy, very much about warrior type energy, very willful, and you know, making use of that. Some of you might have felt really quite energized and wanting to be active during that phase, or we're still in that phase in actual fact. So yeah, if you've been more energetic, then you can probably say the sun in Aries has been a major contributor to that. And, you know, luckily for the people in the Northern Hemisphere, they're going into spring and summer. Not like down south, we are in autumn going into winter, and we can really, really feel it. Okay, so what we're going into is the sun in Taurus, and that will be from the 15th of May to the 15th of June. Okay, so if you're born between those dates, you are actually a Taurian. Okay, So, and myself included, because I thought I was a Gemini, and I am not. I'm actually a Taurian. And where I personally could align with the Gemini constellation is that I have Mercury. My Mercury is in Gemini for me. So I could resonate, but not fully, because the sun for me was in Taurus. And once I got my chart done and really understood the whole chart as a whole, all the different planets in what constellations and houses, it made a lot of sense. Whereas under the tropical system, for me, it just wasn't doing it. A lot of things that I didn't align to. So just bear that in mind. So 15th of May to the 15th of June, then you are Taurian, you're a Taurus. Okay, so Taurus is not hard to find in the sky. So look for the shape of a Christmas tree. And the alpha star is Aldebaran, which is said to be the red eye of the bull. And Aldebaran means the follower, because it follows either the Pleiades, and Aldebaran was one of the 4 royal watches, the royal stars or watches of ancient Mesopotamia. So if you want to know more about the royal stars or the watches of ancient Mesopotamia, just get onto Wikipedia and you'll get a good description of what that was about. And the other 3 stars in the 4 are very dominant in the night sky, and they are Regulus, which is in Leo, and Antares, which is easy to find in Scorpio, and Fomalhaut, which is the mouth of the fish in Pisces, and just south of the spout of the water carrier's jug in Aquarius. They're really bright stars, and they help to navigate the night sky. So often when you can find one of the big ones, it helps you to lock into where you are. So those that are really into stargazing, or you do it a bit ad hoc, it's easy to lose where the constellations are, and you've really got to hone into these dominant stars. So these 4 are some of the big ones that you can find that will help you then find what the constellations are. Okay, so if you see Taurus in the sky, you will also find the 7 sisters or the Pleiades. They're not far away. Or if you find Pleiades, you will see Taurus close by. So one or the other. And Taurus is ruled by Venus. And if you tune into the Pleiades, you will get a very distinct feeling of the Venus force. It's absolutely beautiful, as is the resonance and vibration of Venus if you see Venus in the night sky. There are slightly different vibrations between Taurus and Pleiades, but it's not easy to discern the differences. Okay, so Venus is the dominant flavor for both the Pleiades and Taurus. But if you get really sharp with your third eye vision, with your vision, you will notice the difference between the two. And honestly, I can't. To me, the Pleiades has a different sharpness to it. It's beautifully soft, beautifully feminine, but it's got this sharpness that I feel. So, if you find Taurus, by all means, go and have a feel of the Pleiades constellation and see how you go with tuning in and feeling what they're like. Okay, so that's Taurus. Lots to find out, lots to read about the constellation of Taurus and the bull You know, it's like the king. So go and have a gander. Have a gander. Okay, now we're going to get into what's going on this May in terms of the planets and where they are in the constellations. So you might want to enlarge your screen so you can see this a bit better. So this is sort of like a big overview of May, and this is what it looks like as of the 1st of May. So as mentioned previously, if you go to the very top, you'll see Pluto. It's in Capricorn. So as mentioned previously, Pluto is doing a grand job of being the bulldozer that is transforming all the structures that no longer serve us. And as I said, Pluto is in Capricorn and it's currently at 7 degrees. Okay, it's just in its beginning journey in Capricorn, so it's nowhere near Aquarius. Then we've got some angles. We've got Pluto trine Jupiter, and what we have here is the king of the underworlds, Pluto, meeting the king of the heavens. And we also have Uranus being in a tight conjunction with Jupiter. So expect fireworks with this configuration. So Pluto, Jupiter, and Uranus mix here. It's very powerful. So the rebellious and freedom-fighting Uranus is forcing voltage to these two major forces. Really, really highlighting. And with Pluto and Jupiter, it's not about choosing one over the other, either the king of the heavens or king of the underworlds. Many think of the underworlds as dark and evil. And, you know, I've spoken about this in a live I've done 2 on the Pluto force. So Pluto and Pluto extras. And it's not what you think. Those that really understand Pluto will stand by Pluto, right? It's a major, major force in the human condition. Okay, so it's a perception and of it being dark and evil, and that has been created and swayed our beliefs. In fact, okay, that the darkness is evil. It's just the light needs to go into that darkness. And that's the thing. So of course the fire of darkness and evil, as we know, has been stoked by Luciferic forces, and we've also we align to them ignorantly. We've aligned to Luciferic forces, and that because of our ignorance, you know, we have enabled it to influence us, and naively. So nonetheless, we have enabled it through ignorance, weakness, and fear. So in releasing our own power over, you know, over to these dark forces, we have let go of our own power, right? So bear in mind, it's not about wanting Jupiter, the king of the heavens, to win this battle either. We have to change our thinking on this. So we as humans possess the forces of Jupiter and Pluto within us, both of them, all of it. So we possess the power of the heavens and the power of the underworlds. What is required is for us all to become consciously aware of ourselves and to see these forces within us. So we need to take ownership and foster this power with integrity. You know, not doing this has created a major problem for us, which is the infestation of negative forces that have created our fallenness toward the lower elements of our ego. The fallenness creates all of our negative reactions, our stuckness and our blocks, and makes it difficult for us to raise ourselves into the positives of our humanness. The fallenness makes it difficult to experience soul forces such as joy and empathy, and we have to change ourselves. You know, it's been mentioned that the Pope will have a terrible May. And this is very likely as Pluto and Jupiter mix energies with Uranus. Pluto is the transformer, remember that. So anything not aligned to our higher human experience will be eradicated. Aha. I'll leave you with that to ponder. Okay, Jupiter, the king of the heavens. Think of our higher self. Pluto, the depths of us, the deepest within us. And we lack power, right? It's been taken away from us. And Uranus is going to help us get it back. Okay, so we also have the sun sextile to Uranus, which brings an illumination to Uranus. So Uranus, by the way, is the force that heralds in technology. So the sun's shining here could help with bringing in new technology. So watch out for that. Okay. A lot of rumors going on about new technologies that have been kept from us. So this Sun-Uranus force, as well as what Uranus is doing with Jupiter, Pluto, it's a major period, right? So just bear in mind what might come. You know, so the higher elements of Uranus come on board, which is the boosting of humanitarian transformation. The higher mode Uranus is all about humanitarianism. It's quite shocking sometimes that you don't think it's about humanitarianism, but it's about awakening. It's huge. So add to the Sun sextile Uranus, Jupiter and Pluto, we've also got Sun squaring Pluto, and it illuminates the power of Pluto merging with the ultimate energetic power of the Sun force. So this force, when applied to the individual, is an illumination of our powers above with our powers below us. Power, power, power. It's all about power here, right? These forces are very powerful, right? And we have this within us. So it's the illumination of our powers above with our powers below. It is symbolic of an illumination of our entire being, from above our heads, through our bodies via our spinal column, and downward to below our feet. Right? Think of incarnating our awareness that we are an emanation of God or divinity, and being present with that awareness, grounding it within us. Pluto is the ultimate in grounding power, and we are being invited to tap into it consciously. This is actually how we hold Christ consciousness. Okay, bringing above, below, through us, and we stand on it. This is all alluding to Christ consciousness, which we all have the ability to achieve. Takes some work, but these forces are pushing an impulse for this. So there's likely to be a lot of awakening going on. Awakening on all sorts of levels. Okay. Also, we've got Saturn sextile Uranus. And this too is a powerful element to the entire placement of planets at the moment. So in terms of human evolution, which requires many lessons we have experienced, Saturn represents the limitations of our personal experiences. Because we have been limited in our personal experiences due to the corruption of forces at play, we have had difficulty transcending those limitations. Uranus is the beginning of the transpersonal forces. Those forces enable us to embody a broader mind, a broader perception of consciousness. So Uranus is the force that breaks us out of the limitations of the human condition and the limitations of the human mind. It's a shaker, is Uranus. So of course, you know that humans have difficulties with change because we like our comfort zones. You know, Saturn is one of those forces that likes to control situations. That's one of the negatives we get from the Saturn force, rigidity, you know, that inability to move and shake, right? So, but the higher modes of Saturn is as the teacher who shows us how to build structures. It gives us the ability to have know-how and master the human condition. So because we like the comfort zone, we succumb to sleep, and this has lost us our freedom. We gave a lot of the know-how to the so-called experts, thereby enabling us to not learn how to do for ourselves. Uranus is the freedom fighter. So these two forces together on their higher modes are pushing you to let go of your limitations and wake up and take back what is rightfully yours, your authority as an individual. That is your right. Universal law. It is also pushing you into your higher self that seeks unity among humanity. Being an authority as an individual first. That is wholeness, the ability to hold all these forces, you know, bring in Christ consciousness, raise your vibration so you can enable the ability to have Christ consciousness. From your higher self, that is where you can then seek unity among humanity. It takes a bit of transformation to get to that point. We've got some work to do, but these forces are really pushing for it, really pushing for it. So look at it as a key as being turned, and this is a trigger. It's like, you know, how the Great Awakening occurs when certain planetary alignments happen, and it sets off forces that are pushing for the awakening. And what's going on now is really ramping it up, really making it intense and making it happen. It is actually making it happen. And if you're not feeling anything, wow. If you're not experiencing any discomfort, you need help. You really need help. Okay. So also we've got Venus in conjunction with the Sun, and it's also squaring Pluto, which is bringing the power of the depth of creativity into our experience. Venus is one of those planets of high creativity. So it coming in with the sun, beautiful forces, by the way, beautiful forces. So it's adding to that power. Okay. And then there's nothing more wonderful than a human being being in their creativity. It's a magnificent feeling. So also we have Chiron. It's still conjunct to the North Node and Mercury at the moment. So Mercury is in retrograde until the 25th of May. So be aware of that. It can create difficulties for some people, and for others, not a problem. So watch out for issues that involve communication. Don't shy away from them. Be aware of what you want to say and whether it is appropriate or just a reaction. Be aware. There is a woundedness being healed to do with communication. And this is global as well as individual. So we've noticed there's been a slight shift in communication on mainstream media. Those that have found very good alternate media sources know that there's a massive difference between what mainstream media has been spewing out to us and what is actually going on. Two different things. So this is one of the human attributes that are being addressed. Communication, your ability to express yourself, not have things spoken on your behalf, which is very much a government push at the moment. They're wanting to shut us up. They're not wanting us to see what is going on. They're wanting to curb social media in a really, really big way, which, if they succeed with that, is, I've said this before, expression is, and the voice and being able to speak and in a creative way, expressing yourself is one of the ultimate attributes that we have. Communication means so much. It is the creative force that comes through our throat, from our lower chakras, and it comes through our throat. So them wanting to shut down our ability to communicate and know what's going on, well, you know, they may as well just take out our voice box, get rid of our larynx. So this is part of Mercury, North Node, and Chiron at the moment. North Node is our destiny. It's where we're going. We need to fix this woundedness. We need to be able to speak up without fear. Say what it is that you want, what you need individually, and we need to do it globally. This is a big deal, guys. It's a big deal. You need to get involved with the awakening process and stop this suppression of our power. Very, very important. Okay, Mars is conjunct Neptune and also sextile Pluto, and Neptune is also sextile Pluto. So the positive element here is that high spiritual forces are being engaged, and willfully, for the awakening process. Good old Mars. As we know, Neptune is in Pisces, and for a long time, Pisces energy, has created our delusions, where it was easy for us to be fooled into believing all the lies. We were very easy to manipulate because of our trusting natures. Humans are so trusting. So it is with caution that I am changing the narrative here, but I've chosen to align with the positive elements of Neptune and the Pisces energy, okay? Out of delusion and into the higher modes, which are very spiritually oriented. So because we are being pushed headfirst into the Great Awakening, the Neptune energy is being held strongly by Pluto for a massive transformation of the human psyche. We're going out of delusion into awakening. So this is where my head is at. This is, where I've chosen to align to the higher modes of Neptune, which is not delusional. It's a massive expansion of our consciousness to hold really high forces in a conscious way, that you have awareness and awakening. So Uranus, of course, is helping here. So Chiron, good old Chiron, is helping here also. So it's not just the wound, on the other side of your woundedness, you become a dynamic human being on the other side of your wounds. And Chiron pushes you to heal your woundedness globally and on a personal level. So Chiron is doing its part. It's conjunct our axis of destiny. So it's really being addressed strongly now to look at your wounds. And I've spoken about this, for several months now. It's been really, really active. And also Saturn is doing its part. Saturn is in Aquarius, and you have been looking at your community and your groups, your friends and acquaintances, who you want to be with. Who have you aligned with? Are the people that you are with helping you become an empowered person? Are they for you, or are they always putting you down? These are the things that you want to look at in terms of your environment. Can you be yourself in the situation you are in your home, in your own home, in your community? Can you actually be yourself? And that's what Saturn has been doing. It's been playing its part very, very well. And there's been a lot of upsets with Saturn doing its thing in Aquarius. And we know that, but it's all got a purpose, right? You could say it's all by design, because that's what forces create. Impulses and actions. It gets you into certain difficult situations so that you can get out of them in a positive way. You learn. Saturn is the teacher. So you know your own desire for change, your desire for a better world, a desire for a more spiritually positive set of forces to be available to your own life. That's what you're looking for here. Everyone wants a better life. Everyone wants joy and happiness and, some fun and spontaneity and some creativity. Anyone doesn't want that? I don't know why you're human. Maybe you're not. Haha. You're not. You're not human. Funny about that. Now, Mars is currently working with Pluto. So there is a strong push going on for all of these things to happen, all of these changes. And that's influencing you at the moment. It's getting more intense. She's getting more intense. You'd have to have felt that. Otherwise, like I said, you'd be mute. Absolutely mute. Okay, guys. Now, I've just moved on to the 6th of May. So interesting, 6th of May is known as May Day and is acknowledged in many European countries as well as Australia and the USA. And May Day is the international celebration, you ready, for organised labour. When you look on the net and look up, 6th of May, all you see is these celebration notices, and it sounds like a wonderful celebration. However, those who have delved into the truth know that there is no cause for celebration by the workers who are up to their necks in mortgage payments and are doing jobs they do not want to be doing, all to feed their families. Workers work their guts out to pay ever increasing prices to live, just to exist. Workers are more time poor than ever, which has led to major dissatisfaction, more health issues, both physical and mental. So it is not considered a celebration by many once you have pondered on what is actually occurring here. So May Day, we've got a conjunction of the North Node with the Moon, Mercury and Chiron. So the 6th of May is going to be an interesting day in terms of communication. Watch out for a lot of dissension, rebellion, perhaps people speaking up and speaking their truth, because it's not fair. And we know life's not fair, but this is out of control. This whole labor. Oh, I'll shut up. Now, the there's a 4-planet alignment of the Sun, Uranus, and Jupiter, which are trine Pluto and Venus. So the 4, Sun, Uranus, Jupiter, and Venus. So so the Sun, Uranus, and Jupiter are trine the Pluto still, and Venus is squaring to Pluto. So this brings in this creative force. And of course, if there's an inability to be creative, just watch what happens here. Oh, it's transformative. Look at transformation, a change. King of the heavens, king of the underworlds, the fire of Uranus, the sun illuminating, and Venus. Don't underestimate the power of Venus. And it's not just the creative force, it's what we love. Venus and love go together. So that in the combination, you can start getting really pissed off if you're forever not getting what it is that you love and what you want. Haven't you had enough? Because I've had enough. We need to change. So the 6th of May, very interesting. We're all worker bees, aren't we? But not in a good way. And then Jupiter going into Taurus, our values will be impacted as we deal with our material world. Da-da-da-da. So that's full on. And moving along, guys. We've got the 15th of May. So Mars here joins the North Node and Chiron. And watch out for incidences where your woundedness comes up. So Mars here can mean placing a surge of will into those things you have perhaps avoided in the past. Should be right. Not looking, all of a sudden, whammo. You know, Mars is the planet of war, and it may feel like war when it's with Chiron. The conjunction. I know this only too well because this is actually the second conjunction that we've had. Mars went conjunct Chiron. It was over a month ago, and I felt its impact. It then separated and now it's coming back again. So you're going to get a second bite of Mars and Chiron. So incidences can occur that place you in the position of having to deal with your wounds and your traumas. So this is an opportunity, and it's best to see it as an opportunity. Otherwise, you will likely take the low road of victimhood. Learn to take a breath before reacting and see what it is you need to overcome. Be aware of this, guys. I'm speaking to myself here too, by the way. Last one was really gross. I didn't like it. And we don't like it. We don't like having to face the voltage of our triggers and our charges, do we? But what doesn't kill us makes us stronger, so they say. Now, you've also got the Sun and Jupiter in Taurus. Okay, so Taurus is now, that Taurus Venus energy is now coming online. So Venus and Uranus are still in Aries, trine Pluto, and these 4 planets are in an alignment involving Aries and Taurus. And all 4 planets by association are being affected by the Pluto force for transformation. We're all transforming. Amazing, amazing. Okay, we keep going. And I've just gone forward to the end of May here. So Mars is still in the conjunction with the North Node in Chiron. So we're going to get a full half a month of this force. Second half of May could be quite conflictual and upsetting. Yeah. So Mercury is also squaring Pluto at this time and joins Uranus and Jupiter. Now that's, Mercury and Pluto, deep and possibly conflictual communication. Hearing things you don't want to hear from, the depths, things that you have ignored and smothered can start coming up. Maybe out of the blue, you start saying things that, oh my God, I shouldn't have said that, or it needed to come out. Watch Mercury squaring Pluto. Okay. It's good for communication, in fact, and generally, Pluto Mercury people, so that people that have got Mercury Pluto in their chart, are generally great to have conversations with because they're not shallow. You're not just talking about the weather. You really get into the guts of stuff, right? So in terms of what's going on with government, this is the interesting force, the Mercury Pluto. So, for the government, you just try telling us that you think we should be doing what you tell us. No way. Because it's time also for the people to say, no, stop telling us what we are supposed to do. They're not the boss of us. So use this Mercury Pluto, Mercury Uranus. Whoa, that's fire. Mercury Jupiter, a lot of communication, a lot to say, a lot of expression. Not a bad force. So May is going to be, there's a lot going on. Also, you've got the Sun goes into Taurus on the 15th of May. And Uranus is still in Aries with Venus, Jupiter, and the Sun and Taurus are trine Pluto. So there is a change of focus coming, and it's starting at the end of May toward values and the sphere of material possessions and resources, what you value. Start looking at your value system if you haven't already done so. But I'm going to hold back and wait until June, because more on that with, the next review as Uranus moves into Taurus on the 2nd of June, and I'm going to have a lot to say about that. It's going to be really exciting, guys. So just bear with me. I'm going to, okay, just going to show you the wheel. Okay, it's set up around the 19th of April. Let's go forward so that you can see these planets on the left-hand side. You can see them moving. Just see how they're, okay, so you see the Neptune-Mars conjunction happening there. You see the North Node, the Moon and Mercury there. This is on the 6th of May. Venus, Sun, Uranus and Jupiter all in conjunction. It looks like Saturn's on its own. It's now out of the alignment, that planetary alignment that has been visible in the night sky, but it is angled to Jupiter. So it's angled to this mob down the bottom, the Sun and Uranus. Jupiter and Uranus, that force can be really antagonistic, but at the moment it is so necessary. It's pushing you into higher forces. So we keep moving along. I sort of ignoring the moon, because is the moon real? That's the next question, is it? See how Mercury has separated away from the North Node there, but Mars has joined it. That's on the side in Pisces. And now Mercury keeps moving. Mercury is quite a fast mover, and it's going to join up the end of the month. It's going to join up with Uranus, Jupiter, Venus, and the Sun. That's a full-on alignment. Now that is going to be visible in the night sky and worth having a look at, to be able to see Venus and Jupiter. That's a beautiful alignment. Those energies together, really nice. So even though there's a lot of change going on, it's not all bad. It might feel bad, but yeah, it might feel bad, but we need it. It's necessary. It is all necessary. Okay, so what we've got here is the new moon is on the 8th of May, and it's in Aries. Now, Aries is at the beginning of the zodiac, so we're looking at new beginnings here. So use a new moon for new projects and new impulses. So, aspire for things like success with, new projects, or, begin a makeover over the next 12 months, since it's the beginning of the year technically with Aries, and find the self within yourself. It's a good time for a major impulse when you've got the new moon in Aries. Okay, so this is not aligning with the tropical mob. I'm like a broken record talking about that, but it is in Aries. Okay, not in Taurus. That will be next month. Yay! And full moon is in Scorpio on the 23rd of May. And that could be quite a fiery full moon. So in Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. Okay, so we're looking at, again, another big surge of energy for transformation, the depths of you. That's going to be interesting. You might not get any sleep, but then what's new? Because nobody's sleeping anyway. So it's pretty normal. It's pretty normal. Okay, and we've also got what's going on in terms of. Sorry, guys, I'm just trying to get our. Looking at the retrograde planets. Just looking at the retrograde planets. Now we've got, what have we got here? Sorry, guys. We've got Mercury retrograde from the 1st of April to the 25th. That's going to be interesting. That's a long retrograde. Long Mercury retrograde is happening there. So that's interesting. That's a long-termer in terms of the retrograde. So there's something really being held in the retrogrades. The things are not moving forward as such. This is what happens with retrogrades. So I think I get a feeling things are being set up here. I don't exactly know what that is, but retrogrades, when it's a Mercury retrograde, it's usually about planning, getting all your ducks in a row, so to speak. So just this whole month, I think there's going to be a lot of the necessary stabilization required, I feel. So let's just see what happens. Just be aware of the retrograde that's going on here for April. Could be, adds to the intensity. Now, also we've got, so for May, the only retrograde planet we've got for May is going to be Pluto. So because the retrograde in April finishes on the 25th of April, okay? So that's going to send a flow forward for May. Things are actually going to happen. But interestingly, Pluto starts its retrograde on the 2nd of May and goes all the way through to the 12th of October. Well, that's full on. Now, it's interesting with Pluto retrogrades, it can be really positive for some people. It's really quite willful. And for some, it's empowering around that period to have a Pluto retrograde. Very interesting. For others, they hate it. It's too intense. They can't stand it, right? So it's you have a look for yourself what from the 2nd of May onward. See if you can feel a shift in the Pluto energy. And, ask yourself about whether you are empowered or lose, you're in a loss of power and you struggle with it. See what happens when the retrograde happens. The impulses for empowerment could actually get stronger, and you yourself may feel stronger, that you don't want to be disempowered. That's part of the Pluto force. So let's see what it does. Let's see what it does. Okay, that was huge, guys. There was a lot to cover there. A lot to cover. Okay, so I'm going to finish it there for this month on the planetary review, and we'll see what happens in June. So enjoy your May, and I hope you have some good experiences and they're not too difficult. Okay, get lots of lessons and overcome, your blocks and your charges, and yeah, you get whatever it is that you need and that you want. Use the forces to your advantage. So that's the key. Use these forces to your advantage. It doesn't have to be negative. It's all a matter of how you perceive them and what you do with these forces. Take responsibility. You start taking control of how these forces affect you. Okay, guys, I've enjoyed being with you this month, and I'll see you again next month. So bye for now.